Hello and welcome to the Mental Health Festival 2023. The Mental Health Festival is Intellect's annual tentpole event where we bring together Asia's leading mental health and employee well-being experts to discuss and destigmatize mental health. This year's theme, as you can see, is Inspiring Change, where we focus on promoting positive changes in the field of mental health. My name is Linda. I am one of the clinical psychologists here at Intellect, and I am thrilled to be your host this morning. Today is the first day of the Mental Health Festival 2023, and we will be talking to renowned experts, mental health advocates, and thought leaders through engaging keynote presentations, exclusive industry research, and of course, interactive live Q&A sessions. Of course, we will kick off the festival with a welcome message from our very own Theodoric, the co-founder and CEO of Intellect. But before I hand over the mic, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge and also honor those here present today with us who have experienced mental health challenges of any kind. Most probably every one of us had some experience, and I want to appreciate that knowledge and that wisdom that we all bring to this festival today. Thank you so much. As we go through the many topics lined up today, please feel free to reach out to your local mental health support whenever needed. We've put together some points of contact here at intellect.co/mental-health-hotlines. Now it's time to get this show on the road. Please join me as we welcome Intellect's co-founder and CEO on the stage. Over to you, Theo.
Thanks very much, Linda. Well, welcome everyone. Thanks so much for joining nice, bright and early to Mental Health Festival 2023. This is our third year running the festival, and as you can see from this slide here, it's our biggest and best one yet. I'm super excited for what's in store. Just to give you guys a bit of a sneak peek, this is the first time that Intellect is being held over 3 days. And not just that, it's a hybrid festival where we have both a virtual event today for day one and a live aspect over day 2 and day 3 itself. So I'm really glad for what we have prepared, and I'm really excited for the lineup ahead as well. Now, Mental Festival is our third edition, starting during the pandemic in 2021. And when we kicked off this festival on an annual basis, we had a very big plan and with 2 key objectives. The first of it is to drive awareness and education around this very key subject of mental health across Asia Pacific, right? One of the most defining issues and problems of our generation. And the second key objective is really on driving change and inspiring action for what's to follow after the awareness has been built. So going into this year's theme, to kick off what's in store ahead, our theme for Mental Health Festival 2023 is Inspiring Change, right? And let me get into what this actually means. So change, as you can tell, for everyone out there, change is inevitable, right? For the longest time, change has come, change has gone. We've seen a pandemic, we've come out of it, and we're facing the world ahead. This has changed how we live, how we work, and how we do things in the general basis. And mental health has come to the forefront over the last few years. All right, and today, excitingly, and also in a very critical moment, we have come to an inflection point of the mental health space, where we have made great strides, great progress in driving awareness and increased literacy across the world and definitely in Asia. And next steps, how do we drive this awareness into action and change and transform how we live, how we work, and how we feel happier, feel more content over the next decade here. So the theme is Inspiring Change. Now, this festival, and you see shortly from my sharing, this short opening, we'll share about who will be speaking to you guys. We've brought on, experts, executives from the mental health, the healthcare, the public sector, to talk about different aspects of how do we actually close the gap between awareness and action. One of the key things I'd like to touch about and really bring awareness to and bring a spotlight to is that we've made a lot of strides. We've talked a lot about mental health in the last few years, but the work is not done, right? One of the things I see is it's really a gap and a trap that I want to call out. It's that for those out there who think that we've talked about mental health, the job is done. It really isn't. This is where the actual journey begins for us to drive change action across wherever, whatever capacity you're in as an individual, for our peers, for our family members, if you're a manager, if you're an employer, for the workplace you're in, if you're in a government, you're in insurance, how do you drive this on a population level as well? So we're going to hear from the series of workshops, presentations, panels, discussions, how different experts will talk about their own experiences and their own expertise around how can we drive this empowerment of mental health to lead thriving communities and organizations. All right, for those that have been to past events, welcome back to the festival. And for those that are new to the Mental Festival, it's great to have you with us. To give a very quick intro, this is just a very quick one. We'll talk more about what we do at Intellect over the festival. Just a quick one for those who don't know us. Intellect is Asia Pacific's largest and leading mental health care and benefits company. We serve over 3 million lives across the world today, and we're glad to actually have a very strong focus on end-to-end mental health care, hyper-localized for the region here, right? And we have the privilege of serving some of the leading and biggest populations across workforces, the government, all across Asia. And for many of our partners who's joining us today, welcome. It's great to have you. So enough about the background there. Let's move a bit into the situation and the challenge at hand. Why the theme inspiring change, and what do we want to talk about this year? So starting with the context here, as many of us know, for the longest time before the 21st century, physical health and medical health was the key focus for everybody, right? Be it governments, be it insurers, be it individuals. That has been the key focal point. Mental health, for those that actually aren't aware, is more of a recent, topic of the last century that's been brought to light. But in many ways, as many of us have spoken about this, mental health issues, mental health is this silent pandemic that has been looming for the longest of times, now coming to the forefront. At Intellect, and this is not just from ourselves, but backed by a lot of the institutions across issues and problems of our century. And that means we need to drive a lot of action, a lot of change to actually drive impact in what's coming next, right? So we believe behavioral health and mental health will be one of the defining problems of the century, and it's already here. From different stats we see out there, in Singapore, across Asia and the world, there are alarming increased rates of mental health disorders in our lifetimes, where we see here, in one of the Singapore studies actually done, 1 in 7 people have experienced a mental health condition or disorder in their lifetime. That's a really alarming rate. We see, very, very unfortunately, some of the highest suicide rates happening post the pandemic itself. Right. And we see also in more of the everyday workplace, in our daily lives, lost productivity due to depression, anxiety, and other forms of mental health disorders, leading to very high costs for employers and organizations out there. And as we can see on the last point that I've just brought up here, importance accorded to employee mental health, it's perceived still today to be not high enough, and we want to change how this is actually seen. All right. So Intellect, very briefly, was created, founded, and built to solve just this, right? We believe that the defining aspects to change mental health care boils down to 3 or 4 key aspects. First is accessibility. How can we bring access to the masses? That's a key thing that we believe needs to be done by making mental health a lot more accessible, but importantly, relevant to the daily lives of what we do. Second thing is cost. How do we actually increase access by making mental health care a lot more affordable and reachable for many people out there? The third thing is that mental health has been a topic of taboo, of stigma for the longest of times. How do we change that perspective with festivals and campaigns we run like this one today? How do we actually drive mental health to the topic that's enjoyed, and spoken about in our daily lives, enjoyed by many people out there? That's what we aim to do. And last but not least, we want to make sure that mental health care and what we're building here at Intellect is backed strongly by science. And that's why we have one of the largest, if not the largest, clinical teams across any mental health companies in the region to ensure that what we do, it's evidence-based and actually drives innovation out there as well. All right. And just very briefly, looking back at what the last few years for Intellect has been, before we dive right into the agenda for MHF 2023, it's been a really busy few years since Intellect has been founded, right? Since 2019. And over the last 3 years itself, we've made great strides. We actually broke ground being one of the top mental health apps out there in the world by Google in 2021. We kicked off MHF back then. We expanded across the region in 2022 in Japan and Hong Kong and Malaysia, all across APAC, basically. We actually awarded one of the region's top HR best wellness providers. And looking at 2023, we've done a lot more. We've brought on great strategic partners in the healthcare space. We've expanded our suite of services to go beyond just mental health to holistic and end-to-end care, and now even got clinics, across the region, and a lot more coming up. So I won't go into the details here. You'll see a lot more of what's coming in the next 2 days, 3 days of the festival. All right, so excitingly, let's kick off to what to expect in this event. So I will be sharing a bit more about what's to come and what we aim to achieve in this year's mental health festival. So this is our biggest lineup yet. Across 3 days, we'll be inviting different experts from thought leaders, mental health experts, healthcare leaders, executives from companies to speak about the topic of mental health from an employee perspective, from a public perspective, to drive change, all right? And the goal here, what we want to achieve, is twofold. We want this to be an inspiring festival for everyone here, to actually hopefully spark you to take action in your own personal capacity. And secondly, we want this to be an enriching and learning experience for everyone joining in here. So you're not just hearing from ourselves, but really a lot of thought leaders who can share insights and expertise on the space here, and you can see some of the expected speakers coming up in the next few days. All right, and you can see just a sneak peek here. We will be welcoming different folks from different walks of the healthcare space, the public sector, clinicians, public figures, and a lot more as well. So I'm super excited for what's to come, and I hope you guys are too. Okay, with that, I'm going to pass back to our MC for day 1 of Mental Health Festival to walk through what's next. Over to you, Linda.
Thank you so much, Theo. What a wonderful way to welcome us to this year's Mental Health Festival. Thank you so much. Let's carry that energy right over to our next sessions. We've got 4 interesting talks lined up for you before the lunch break. We will start off right now at 10:15 on the topic of employee engagement and well-being and how it's connected to authenticity and resilience. Then at 10:35, we will dive into destigmatizing mental health challenges in the workplace before joining the 11 a.m. panel discussion around well-being implementation strategies at a market level. Before we break for lunch, we will get to hear about how leaders can make use of mental health ownership and sustainable cultures. So to get the full view of our agenda, go ahead and visit the link displayed in the top right corner here. We'll also put it in the chat. Thank you so much. You can use this overview to make sure that you don't miss any of your favorite sessions. You can go back to this lobby and cruise around the different sessions that we have today. In a moment, you will be redirected to that event lobby. So to join our next session called Unlocking Employee Engagement and Wellbeing with Authenticity and Resilience, all you need to do is click the join button on the right-hand side. Thank you very much, and I'll see you over there in a second.